Live from New Delhi, you're watching DT India Live, India's voice to the world. I'm Prasar Bharati. Coming up in the next 30 minutes. Israel identifies body of Shiri Bibas returned by Hamas, while Hamas releases 2 of the 6 Israeli hostages and hands over to Red Cross in Gaza in exchange for hundreds of Palestinian prisoners. US pushes Ukraine to sign critical minerals deal soon. Trump says Zelensky and Putin must get together to end the conflict. Political parties in Germany into the last leg of campaigning for Sunday voting. Polls show mainstream parties losing steam while far right and far left gaining ground. And in sports, injury hit Australia to face England in their opening match of Champions Trophy in Lahore on Saturday. Hamas released 2 of the 6 hostages on Saturday in exchange of hundreds of Palestinian prisoners as part of hostage prisoner swap under the ongoing Gaza ceasefire deal. Hamas handed over Tal Shoham and Vera Mengistu to the representatives of International Committee of Red Cross in Gaza's Rafah. The Israeli army has confirmed receiving both hostages from Red Cross. The remaining 4 hostages are expected to be handed over at the Nusrat camp in a short while from now. These 6 hostages were part of the 33 hostages to be freed in the first stage of ceasefire deal. 4 of the hostages were seized by Hamas gunmen during their attack on Israel on October 7, 2023. Another 2 have been held by Hamas since they entered Gaza separately under unexplained circumstances around a decade ago. After this release is concluded, there will be 4 remaining bodies of Israel captives to be handed over, and that would conclude phase 1 of the ceasefire agreement, which ends on March 1st. The second phase of Gaza truce talks is expected to begin in coming days. Meanwhile, Hamas said on Saturday that it was ready to move to the second phase of the Gaza ceasefire deal and carry out a comprehensive hostage prisoner exchange to achieve a permanent ceasefire and complete withdrawal of Israeli forces. The body of Israeli hostage Shiri Bibas has been identified at the Institute of Forensic Medicine days after a mistaken handover by Hamas sparked outrage and threatened the fragile Gaza ceasefire. Israeli army radio confirmed that Bibas was likely killed in captivity along with her 2 young sons. Her community says she will be laid to rest in Israel beside them. The handover follows Israel accusations that Hamas committed a horrific violation by previously sending the wrong body and falsely identifying it as Bibas. Arab leaders met in Riyadh on Friday to craft a plan for Gaza's post-conflict reconstruction. Saudi state news agency SPA in a statement described the meeting as an informal brotherly gathering. According to the SPA, the meeting included consultations on various regional and international issues with a focus on joint efforts to support the Palestinian cause and address developments in Gaza Strip. It added that the leaders welcomed the emergency Arab summit scheduled for Cairo on March 4, 2025, after which the first phase of Egypt's reconstruction plan is expected to begin should the ceasefire between Israel and Hamas hold. Updates now on Russia-Ukraine conflict. Advocating for a quick resolution to the ongoing conflict, US President Donald Trump has called for cooperation between Russian President Vladimir Putin and Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky and emphasized that Russia was open to negotiating a deal. Trump held individual talks with both leaders to discuss the matter. Trump, in office for just a month, is pushing for a quick deal to end the conflict and has alarmed Washington's European allies by leaving them and Ukraine out of initial talks with Russia.
I think that President Putin and President Zelensky are going to have to get together because you know what? We want to stop killing millions of people. You have young soldiers being killed. If you saw the pictures that I saw of the battlefield from satellite, you've never seen any pictures like that.
Further, Trump also flagged that a mineral deal with Ukraine was close.
I think we're pretty close, yeah. I think they want it, and they feel good about it, and it's a big deal, but they want it, and it keeps us in that country, and they're very happy about it. But we get our money back. This should have been signed long before we went in. This should have been signed by Biden, but Biden didn't know too much about what he was doing. The war should have never happened.
The proposed partnership would give the United States access to Ukraine's deposits of critical minerals. Trump wants Ukraine to give US companies access of minerals as compensation for the tens of billions of dollars of aid delivered under his predecessor, Joe Biden. Meanwhile, Ukraine is seeking security guarantees from the United States in exchange for signing the critical minerals deal. While during his nightly address, Zelensky said that his government was working with Washington on a draft agreement aiming to strengthen weakening relations between the two countries.
The teams of Ukraine and the United States are working on a draft agreement between our governments. This agreement has the potential to strengthen our relations, and most importantly, the details must be arranged in a way that ensures it works. I hope for a fair result.
Germany heads to snap elections on Sunday after the collapse of Chancellor Olaf Scholz's coalition. With 4 key contenders in the race, the outcome will determine Germany's fate and influence Europe's political direction. Take a look at this report.
Germany is set to hold a snap national election on Sunday, February 23rd, following the collapse of Chancellor Olaf Scholz's three-way coalition. The election has triggered extensive debates across the country on topics ranging from the economy and migration to Germany's role in the European Union. With 4 major contenders vying for the chancellorship, the results will not only determine Germany's future, but also impact the broader European landscape.
Alles Gute, viel Erfolg.
First up, Friedrich Merz. A seasoned politician, Merz is widely expected to become Germany's next chancellor. Leading the conservative CDU-CSU alliance, Merz is a known advocate for tax cuts and deregulation. His campaign focuses on revitalizing the economy while balancing the conservative base with a push to win back votes from the far-right Alternative for Germany, or AfD. Next, Alice Weidel of the far-right AfD. Weidel's candidacy has shaken Germany's political dynamics. An economist by training, fluent in Mandarin, Weidel presents a modern face for a party often criticized for its far-right views. Under her leadership, the AfD has gained substantial support by focusing on strict immigration policies and calling for the tighter border controls. Olaf Scholz, of course the incumbent chancellor from the Social Democratic Party, or SPD, is seeking a second term. However, persistent infighting within the coalition and a struggling economy have weakened his position, with polls showing the SPD trailing behind the Conservative and the AfD. Rounding up the list is Robert Habeck of the Greens. Currently serving as Germany's Vice-Chancellor and Economy Minister, Habeck gained popularity by leading the Greens through a successful period of growth. However, his policies on transitioning from fossil fuels to greener alternatives have drawn mixed reactions. Now, as Germany prepares to vote, the world is watching. The key issues dominating the elections include Germany's approach to the war in Ukraine, economic recovery and migration. With Nancy Baloda, Amit Mukherjee for DD India.
US President Donald Trump ordered his trade chief to revive investigations aimed at imposing tariffs on imports from countries that levy digital service taxes on US technology companies. A White House official providing details of the order said Trump was directing his administration to consider responsive actions like tariffs to combat the digital service taxes, fines, practices and policies that foreign governments levy on American companies. The digital service tax is aimed at dominant US tech giants including Alphabet's Google, Meta's Facebook, Apple and Amazon have been a long-standing trade irritant for multiple US administrations. Britain, France, Italy, Spain, Turkey, India, Austria and Canada have levied the taxes on sales revenue by these and other digital services providers within their borders. US President Donald Trump on Friday fired the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, Air Force General C.Q. Brown. Brown was the second black officer to serve as chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff after Colin Powell. Brown, a former fighter pilot with command experience in the Middle East and Asia, had served as Joint Chiefs Chairman since October 2023. Brown was in official travel when Trump made the announcement. Trump, in a social media post, thanked Brown for his over 40 years of service. He further announced that he would nominate retired Lieutenant General Dan Razin Kane to succeed Brown. Trump will also replace the head of the US Navy, a position held by Admiral Lisa Franchetti, the first woman to lead a military service, as well as the Air Force Vice Chief of Staff and Judge Advocates General for the Army, Navy and Air Force. The United Nations Security Council on Friday called on Rwanda's military to stop supporting the M23 rebel group in Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo and immediately withdraw all troops from Congolese territory without preconditions. The 15-member council unanimously adopted a French-drafted resolution urging the DRC and Rwanda to return to diplomatic talks to achieve a lasting peaceful resolution. The UN resolution strongly condemns the ongoing offensive and advances of the M23 in North Kivu and South Kivu with the support of Rwanda Defense Forces and demands that M23 immediately stop its hostilities and withdraw. France's permanent representative to the UN ambassador Nicolas Darivy said the resolution sends a clear message that there is no military solution to the conflict in the east of the DRC.
Les forces rwandaises doivent se retirer.
The Rwandan forces must without delay withdraw from Congolese territory, as has already been declared by the United Nations Secretary General as well as the members of the Security Council. MONUSCO needs to be able to carry out the mandate for the benefit of civilian population without being obstructed in its efforts or its freedom of movement.
Le processus de Luanda et Nairobi.
Meanwhile, US Secretary of State Marco Rubio on Friday called for an immediate ceasefire in the Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo in a phone conversation with Kenyan President William Ruto. Both leaders discussed the ongoing conflict in Eastern Democratic Republic of the Congo, including the unacceptable capture of Goma and Bukavu by the Rwanda-backed M23 armed group. All right, let's see what's happening around the world. At least 3 people were killed and 74 others injured when the roof of a food court collapsed at the Real Plaza Mall in Trujillo, northern Peru on Friday. Authorities fear the death toll may rise as rescue teams intensify efforts to locate people trapped under the rubble. The Peruvian government has deployed emergency responders to the site and investigations are underway. The Financial Action Task Force, a global anti-money laundering watchdog, announced that it has removed the Philippines from its grey list. Meanwhile, Laos and Nepal have been newly added to the list due to concerns over financial transparency. The world's largest vehicle carrier, Hug Aurora, crossed Panama Canal on Friday. The transit of this huge vessel, which is capable of transporting approximately 9,100 cars, indicated the canal's strategic importance in global maritime trade. And still to come on this edition of DD India Live, we'll tell you about the 6th edition of India-Japan joint military exercise Dharma Guardian.
Geopolitics and trade deals. Economic challenges amid development. Hard work and the path to prosperity. It's the economy always. Between walkers, money is what money does and says. Supply creates its own demand. Between the bulls pulls and bears tears. When supply chains globalization and India rises to the podium. We'll get you centered with the economic brief at 8 p.m. every Thursday on DD India.
You're watching DD India Live. I'm Siddharth Bharadwaj. Mauritius Prime Minister Naveen Ramgoolam announced that Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi will be joining country's 57th National Day celebrations as the guest of honor. While addressing the Parliament, Ramgoolam said that it would be the country's honor to host such a leader despite his very tight schedule and his recent visits to Paris and the United States.
In the context of the celebrations of the 57th anniversary of the independence of our country, I have great pleasure to inform the House that following my invitation, His Excellency Sri Narendra Modi, Prime Minister of India, has kindly agreed. As I said, His Excellency Sri Narendra Modi, the Prime Minister of India, has kindly agreed to be the guest of honor for our National Day celebrations. It is indeed a singular privilege for our country to host such a distinguished personality who is doing us this honor in spite of his very tight schedule and in spite of his recent visits to Paris and the United States. He has agreed to be here as our special guest. The visit of Sri Modi is a testimony of the close relations between our two nations.
The country will celebrate its National Day on March 12. Last year, President Draupadi Murmu participated in the 56th National Day celebrations of Mauritius as the chief guest. And Prime Minister Narendra Modi will share his thoughts with the people of country and abroad in Mann Ki Baat program on 23rd of February at 11 a.m. IST. It will be the 119th episode of the monthly radio program. The program will be broadcast on the entire network of Akashvani and Doordarshan, the AIR News website and the News on Air mobile app. It will also be live streamed on the YouTube channels of AIR News, DD News, PMO and the Information and Broadcasting Ministry. Akashvani will broadcast the program in regional languages immediately after the Hindi broadcast. Delhi University organized its 101st annual convocation on Saturday. Education Minister Dharmendra Pradhan attended the event as the chief guest. At the event, a total of 84,287 students, including 77,446 undergraduates, 6,812 postgraduates, 29 5-year program and 494 PhD scholars were conferred degrees. Speaking at the event, he also urged the youth to contribute with their best to make India a developed nation by 2047.
आज भारत की 60% आबादी युवाओं की है। 60% पॉपुलेशन 35 साल के नीचे की नौजवानों की है। आज भारत की सर्वश्रेष्ठ यूनिवर्सिटी में मैं खड़ा होकर अपेक्षा रखता हूं भारत की नई पीढ़ी के सामने, भारत की नौजवानों के सामने हमें प्रधानमंत्री जी की जो आह्वान है, हमें अपना कर्तव्य निभाना है। भारत को 2047 तक विकसित भारत में परिवर्तित करना है। हमें तब ये संभव हो पाएगा अगर दिल्ली विश्वविद्यालय के नेतृत्व में हम देश में राष्ट्रीय शिक्षा नीति को लागू कर पाएंगे।
India's Union Power Minister Manohar Lal inaugurated Electrama 2025, the flagship event for electrical and power sector at India Expo Mart in Greater Noida. The 5-day summit brings together industry leaders, innovators and policymakers from around the world. The event, into its 16th edition, sees 75 countries and 450 global buyers take part in powering the future of energy. The energy and power symbiosis serve as a premier platform for showcasing cutting-edge technologies, fostering business collaborations and shaping the future of the electrical industry. While speaking at the summit, Union Minister Manohar Lal also spoke about India's growth in renewable and solar energy.
रिन्यूएबल एनर्जी 2014 से लेकर और अभी 10 साल में हम 200 से ऊपर गीगावाट आरी इस समय हमारी कैपेसिटी हो गई है एंड which is 2.81 times in this last decade. 2.81 times ये हमारी प्रोग्रेस ये अपने आप में कुछ इबारत लिखती है। कोई एक इस विषय पर हमको जरूर ध्यान रखना चाहिए। एंड सोलर एनर्जी एज फार एज इट कंसर्न, इसमें हमने इन 10 सालों में 38 टाइम्स हमने ग्रोथ की है।
The Indian Army contingent departed on Saturday for 6th edition of India-Japan joint military exercise Dharma Guardian. The exercise is scheduled to be conducted in East Fuji Maneuver Training Area of Japan from 24th of February to 9th of March. Exercise Dharma Guardian is an annual event conducted alternatively in India and Japan. Last edition of the same exercise was conducted in Rajasthan in February-March 2024. The Indian contingent, comprising 120 personnel, will be represented mainly by troops from a battalion of the Madras Regiment. Aim of the exercise is to enhance interoperability between the two forces. The exercise will focus on high degree of physical fitness, joint planning and joint tactical drills. Exercise Dharma Guardian reinforces the India-Japan relationship as a cornerstone of regional cooperation, fostering strong military-to-military ties and promoting cultural understanding. The Mahakumbh 2025 in Prayagraj has drawn an overwhelming number of devotees to the sacred Triveni Sangam, the confluence of River Ganga, Yamuna and Saraswati. Displaying unwavering faith and devotion, more than 590 million pilgrims have already taken the holy dip, seeking spiritual purification and blessings. People from across India and world continue to arrive daily, making the Mahakumbh a global spiritual spectacle. The Mahakumbh 2025 is not just a religious gathering but a reflection of the rich spiritual heritage and enduring faith of millions as the sacred waters of the Triveni Sangam witness history. The event continues to inspire devotion, unity and cultural pride. With the final bathing festival of Mahakumbh 2025 set to take place on Mahashivratri on February 26, marking the conclusion of the 45-day, once in 12-year fair, officials have ramped up preparations to ensure seamless arrangements for devotees. Acting on Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath's directives, Chief Secretary Manoj Kumar Singh and DGP Prashant Kumar visited Mahakumbh Nagar on Friday to review the arrangements and provide necessary instructions to officials. At the same time, the state government is closely monitoring attempts to disrupt the sanctity of Mahakumbh through misleading social media posts. India is a land of multiple ethnicities, and one such ethnic group is Sonowal Kacharis. It is the third largest indigenous community of northeast Indian state of Assam. DD India gives you a sneak peek into one of their most revered festival, Lakshmi Tuloni Sabha.
It is an auspicious day for the Sonowal Kasaris as they celebrate the Lakshmi Tuloni Sabha at their native village. The Sonowal Kacharis are the third largest indigenous people of the state of Assam in northeast India. The name Sonowal comes from the Assamese word horn, which means gold. The traditional occupation of the Sonowal was panning for gold during the Ahom kingdom. Lakshmi Sabha is one of the most revered festivals. The Sonowals believe, as per mythology, that goddess Lakshmi originated from the Samudra Manthan, and therefore the Sonowals visit rivers to receive goddess Lakshmi and take her to their worship place, that is Namghor. The Sonowal women, who are expert weavers of cotton, carry their weaving reels to the rivers to invite the goddess.
इसीलिए बनाया जाता है लक्ष्मी को पाने के लिए। लक्ष्मी तो सागर में डूबा हुआ है, उसको सागर से उठाने के लिए ये समतल बना करके क्या बोलते हैं, पानी से उठा करके अपने दूल्हा में भर के लेके आते हैं नामघर में। नामघर से सबको ये वितरण करते हैं। लक्ष्मी का ये उद्देश्य यही है।
After the rituals are performed on the river, it is time that the villagers now carry the goddess on bola, and the road is laid with silver and gold, which is signified by the weave strings and the rice powders that are strewn on the pathways. The villagers sing, dance and make merry while bringing the goddess to the Namghor where she is worshipped. As modern times continue to fade cultural traditions, the Sonowal Kacharis continue to uphold their age-old traditions through Lakshmi Tuloni Sabha. Assam is not just rich in its natural beauty, but also rich in culture, as many indigenous people reside here in Assam. and one such tribe is Sonwal Kachari tribe, which is the third largest tribe of Assam. And today we are here at one of their festivities out here, and as you can see, it is Lokhumi Tula Hoba, and where they are celebrating peace and prosperity for the coming year. With DDK Dibrugarh team, Sabina Roy, DD India.
You're watching DD India. Time now for sports. And Australia won the toss and chose to bowl against England in their first Group B encounter in Lahore on Saturday. England had announced their lineup 2 days ago, with Jos Buttler being named to bat at number 6. Jamie Smith is set to bat at number 3. Australia have had major injury concerns and top retirements ahead of the Champions Trophy 2025 and have gone with both wicket-keeper batters in their playing 11. Onus will be on Steve Smith to guide the team to glory. Delhi police have organized a walkathon in city on Saturday to make people aware of the menace of drugs. Hundreds of people participated in the event named Delhi Police Week. Chief of the Delhi Police Crime Branch, Devesh Chandra Srivastava, was the chief guest. Prominent sportspersons such as wrestler Ravi Dhaya, who won a silver medal at the Tokyo Olympics, lent his support to the cause. People were not only made aware of the ill effects of drugs, but were also encouraged to play an important role in building a healthy society by staying away from drugs.
पुलिस कर्मचारियों ने हर रैंक ने इसमें भाग लिया और इसके साथ साथ आपने देखा कि आम जनता ने भी काफ़ी जोश के साथ इसमें भाग लिया। जागरूकता फैलाना है, लोगों को नशे के खिलाफ एकजुट करना है, तो उसमें हम काफ़ी हद तक इस प्रयास में अपने सफल रहे।
That's all for this edition of DD India Live, but let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. For those on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on DD India mobile app. The app is available on both Android and iOS platforms, and you can scan the QR code on the screen to download now. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Siddharth Bharadwaj from all of us here in Delhi. Thanks for watching DD India Live.